Welcome to Women's Wellness Wednesday with your host, Reek and T. So glad to be here. Hey, T.
Hey, Reek.
How are you?
Good, beautiful. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
So glad to have you with us here on the BN Network, let alone Women's Wellness Wednesday.
Thank you.
So glad to have you. T, how was your week thus far?
Girl, tiring.
Yeah.
Tiring. I feel like my mind is all over the place, but nowhere at the same time.
Right. So I had a time. Really good news I received on Friday, and it carried me. And I'll get into that later on in the show. So remind me to touch base. I'm sure I remember, but if I don't, please remind me to go back to that because I do want to celebrate that and acknowledge it. But this week was a week, and it is only Wednesday.
Yes, ma'am.
But we made it, and we're both thriving. You look fabulous.
You do too. Thank you, ma'am.
So let's get into our special guest. I don't want to, prior to that, again, none of this is scripted. I want to give a special shout out, and I want T to give the shout out. Again, here on Women's Wellness Wednesday, we salute women, we celebrate women, and especially love. So T, with that being said, give our shout out.
Okay, so my special shout out is to my spirit sister, Miss Alicia.
Yay!
I had the pleasure of meeting our special guest at Miss Alicia's bachelorette weekend 2 weeks ago in Nashville.
Nice.
So Alicia blessed me with the opportunity. I wanted to give her a huge shout out. She'll be a wife in September.
That is so exciting. Alicia, we see you. We salute you, sis, and we celebrate you. Amen. So September, get ready because she's coming.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for that, T. And again, to anyone out there, if there is someone you want to shout out, someone you want to acknowledge, please send that over to the BEN Network, and we will be glad to do that. We salute all aspects of women. So if you got a promotion, we want to know about it. We want to salute you, celebrate you, and just say, go ahead, girl. So Julia, she is our special guest. T is going to give us a small intro, and then we will feature her. T?
Sure. Yes. So I met Julia in Nashville, like I said, 2 weekends ago. She had to accommodate 10 women, 10 indecisive women, 10 women with 10 different personalities. She provided amazing customer service. She was extremely knowledgeable on everything. So I pull her aside and I'm like, hey, I would really like to talk to your manager. I would really like to let your manager know how amazing you were and how amazing you are. And then she hits me with, you're talking to the manager. You're talking to the boss.
Okay.
So I said, say no more, queen. I need to have you on this show so we can learn about you and all your boss bitch behaviors.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So without further ado, we will bring Julia to Women's Wellness Wednesday. Julia?
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, baby.
Hello.
Love the Cheech and Chong shirt, T. I just noticed that.
Listen, Julia, I swear, I got it out the drawer. I said, this is a perfect shirt for Miss Julia.
Yes, this is the perfect shirt for me. That's for sure.
I'm glad you appreciate it. How you feeling today, babe?
I'm good. I'm a little tired. I closed late last night, and then I had to go in at 8 o'clock in the morning for an audit. But, got to do what you got to do when you're the boss.
Amen.
Got to do what you got to do.
Won't he do it?
That's it. Julia. So tell us a little bit about, T, did you want to speak to Julia a bit more, or can I get into some?
Get into it, girl.
Get into it. Okay. Julia, let us know a little bit about yourself, what exactly a cannabis connoisseur is here on the BEN Network on Women's Wellness Wednesday.
So I am Julia. Originally from New York, but I'm a bit of a gypsy. I've lived in New York, Hawaii, Spain, and now Nashville. And I've been in the hospitality space since I graduated college many moons ago. And I started actually in stand-up comedy. I did stand-up comedy for a couple years in New York City. And then I realized that instead of entertaining people on stage, I preferred to entertain people at like a party. So I became an event manager for a while, and then I did that in New York City nightclubs and hotels, and then I went to Hawaii and I worked in some fancy hotels, and then I got super burnt out from the hospitality industry, and I said I'm gonna quit. I don't want to do this shit anymore. And so I said, all right, I'm gonna move to Spain and become a English teacher. But first day in Spain, I met a cannabis grower, and he was looking for someone that makes edibles. And I had been making edibles for like 12 years on the side for my friends. I also in college had a cooking show called Get Baked with Julia, which
Okay.
is like I used to teach college kids how to make munchie foods.
Nice.
And with that, I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then I wound up being a chef at a high-end cannabis club. And I started my own cookie company. I learned Spanish via my cookies. The first words I learned in Spanish were cookies and weed, Maria y galleta. And
Okay.
so that's I learned how to sell my first Spanish was cookie Spanish. I learned how to do my whole spiel and sell the cookies in Spanish so I could eat. And then by the end, unfortunately, I tried to marry everyone. No one would marry me. Men, women didn't care. I would marry the dog.
I love it.
Nobody would
There's
marry
somebody
me.
for
Nobody wants
everybody,
American citizenship.
Julia.
No one wants American citizenship. But then I was like, all right, I'm a legal immigrant, selling drugs out of a kitchen. I should probably move back to the United States. So I was gonna go be fun employed on my parents' couch for a little while, like 30 and confused. And I lost money moving to Spain, but it was a cultural experience that I would never trade for anything in the entire world. And so, but when I got off the plane, my dad was like, hey, you want to go to the cannabis restaurant? And I said, what did you say, sir? And I said, we're in Tennessee. How is that possible? He said, no, it exists. And we went and we got super messed up and stoned. And I became the general manager a week later. I asked all the questions and I was the boss in a week. And so I was like, all right, I guess I live in Nashville now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So needless to say, you show up for yourself daily. You didn't even take the fact that you didn't have papers to be legal to stop your hustle.
Yeah.
Can we take a minute to that's amazing.
It was risky, but it was fun. So in Spain, marijuana is decriminalized and it is legal in the private space. So like I worked at a private cannabis club, but the fact that I was working in general was black market. Like I wasn't really supposed to work because I was a student.
Right.
And so I kind of didn't care. I was stoned for 2 years, to be completely honest with you. Stoned completely.
But you made a check, but you
it was, I call it my sabbatical, my time in Spain. It was my sabbatical. I learned so much and I made everything with my hands. I did all the sales calls. I made all the cookies. I made the logo. I did the packaging. I did the sales. Like I did all of it.
It was huge. Which is why I say that it's amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
So quick question, Julia, do you feel like being a woman was challenging for you? People didn't take you serious?
Oh, yeah. In the cannabis industry in the United States or in Spain, worldwide, it's male dominated. 100% it's male dominated. So it was funny, like when I first moved to Spain, I didn't know how to roll a joint. So I had to learn how to roll a joint real quick because I was like, I can't work in this industry and not know how to roll a joint. Like no one will take me seriously. So like that was like one of the first things I had to learn how to do was like roll a joint and speak Spanish. So that was kind of like important. But being a woman in this space is tough because it's definitely a male dominated world. But I'm tough. So and I'm up for it, and I've always been up for a challenge. I never want to work in I want to stay in cannabis. If I had to leave the hospitality space, I wouldn't be heartbroken. But but the way that this place merges together is perfect. Where I work now, we're the only cannabis restaurant in Tennessee. We have a really good following of some locals, and we are a tourist hotspot. And I love my staff. My staff loves me. I motivate with incentive and I motivate with jokes, and everybody feels like a family there, which is what I want to establish. I want all of the people that work for me to feel like this is the coolest job they've ever had.
Nice. So clearly, Teresa was able to experience exactly what you do, and not even knowing that you were the boss babe of the establishment. So kudos to you. That shows that your business, you believe in it, you're passionate about it, and it exudes through you. And through that, a customer in Pennsylvania is now raving about you and your service. So that's huge, and that's really a great, huge accomplishment.
Yeah, just shout out to like your energy, because the moment we walked in, it was like literally like we were just in a friend's backyard. Everybody was just, hey, everybody was nice. Julia comes over, she's so welcoming. Right. She's like looking at us, kind of figuring out what we would all kind of want and need. And it was just like we were not in like a bougie restaurant. It was just a real laid back, dope experience. And we were all like, we literally could have stayed there for the whole entire day. The food was banging, everything was banging. I was like, coming back to Nashville here soon.
Right.
I look forward to that.
We have a question. What are some of your favorite infusions and dishes to make?
So I mean, my favorite thing that I make is my cookies. They used to call me the cookie shaman when I was in Spain doing the cookie game. They called me the cookie shaman because I used to make in layman's terms, for people that don't really know cannabis well, there are two like major differentials. There's sativa and indica. So sativa is like more awake, more active, and then indica, you think couch, like sleepy. So I used to make strain specific cookies that were delicious, if I may add. And I sold to a very high-end clientele. My favorite cookie that I ever made, my most successful cookie that I ever made, was a chocolate cookie with Twix, caramel, and pretzels inside. And it was called Candy Queen. And then my other bestseller was the Pink Lady. And the Pink Lady was a coconut lemon cookie filled with guava. Yeah. And so all my staff now is like, all right, Julia, you keep saying you're the cookie queen. Where are these cookies? So I got to make them. I'm going to make them cookies next week because I've got the peer pressure.
The peer pressure. Awesome. So you said you want to stay in the cannabis for the future. Do you see yourself branching off to get other establishments, or?
I mean, we're growing rapidly. This company that I work for right now we're going to have a food truck within the next 2 weeks. And then by the end of the year, we will have a second store. So I call it corporate cannabis. We're a vertically integrated company. So we make all of the products that we sell. So we have drinks, we have sauces. The food isn't infused. The sauces are infused. The drinks are infused, and we have a bong that you can smoke tableside. We have a sister store that's a dab bar, and they sell flour as well. And they've already expanded into other states. We have 15 in Tennessee, and then outside of Tennessee, we're also in Alabama. We're in Georgia. We're in Kentucky. So we're expanding on a huge rate right now. We just got our second location approved last week, so we're excited for that. And we will probably franchise. But we're not there yet.
Understood. How many milligrams are typically in your cookies?
So my cookies in Spain were strong. I started them at 30 milligrams, and people were like, nah, we need them stronger. So I went up to 60 milligrams and 120 milligrams, which is very strong. Is very strong. People that don't consume like at the restaurant that I work at, we tell people between 5 and 20 milligrams is like a safe space for someone who has never consumed cannabis before.
Okay.
But I used to have people that bought 5 and ate 5. Wow. So it really just depends on who you are, how you metabolize it, how your body reacts. Everybody is different.
So do you, at your place of business, or if you can say, do you give the benefits of cannabis? Like, do you educate folks on it if they have different questions and things of that nature? And
it's important. That's so important.
Healing.
Education is the most important part of my job. It truly, truly is. Because we get all kinds. We get people that have never consumed cannabis once in their life, and then we also get people that haven't smoked weed since the 70s. But then we also get like the young kids that are like, oh yeah, I'm ready to get fucked up. Let's do it. You know what I mean? And and it's a crazy, like, everybody. I
The
mean,
influx.
the influx of the different kinds of people that we get are incredible. Like, it's such a, we have a very diverse audience. However, the common ground is that they all are curious about cannabis.
Right.
Right.
So it's a cool thing, because especially because Tennessee is actually, it's illegal in Tennessee, marijuana. So what's legal here is hemp. There is a difference between hemp and marijuana. So in 2018, there was a federal farm bill that was passed called the 2018 Farm Bill, which differentiated hemp and marijuana. So marijuana is going to be more than 3% THC by dry weight, and hemp will be less than 3% THC by dry weight. So we get away with it because we are less than 3% THC, but we are using other cannabinoids. There are hundreds of cannabinoids within cannabis. A cannabinoid is it's like basically what, like the psychoactive component,
Like an enhancement.
Delta 9, Delta 10, CBD, CBG, CBN. There's a million of them. So there's so many that we're able to play with that are legal, that are loophole. It's a loophole.
Right. Right. Anybody in this industry has a story about a person's first time. I'd like to hear yours, LOL. So first time stoner stories are hilarious.
Always.
Especially when you consume like edibles. I'm not a fan. It's
too much.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Some people just can't handle the length of time.
Is that what it is, Julia? Okay.
You know what it is? Because you
Get
metabolize it differently. So when you smoke weed, it goes to your lungs and hits you immediately. When you eat it, you need to digest it just like food and process it just like alcohol. It has to metabolize in your system. So it's going to take longer for it to hit. And then once it hits, it's exactly a ride that you're not getting off of. That's exactly what it is. But then we also have the drinks.
Part of my reaction.
Yeah, and then drinks are water soluble. So the drinks will hit you within 20 minutes, and those will probably fade within like 2 hours to 3 hours. So kind of depending on what kind of edible, even where there's so many different ways you can consume it these days.
Right.
The milk does not work. No, milk does not make you less high. Nothing makes you less high. Nothing will make you less high. You have to go back to sleep. You have to go to sleep.
The infused guava juice had me wavy for a good little bit of time.
You're gonna be you're gonna be
Angry OG, and that's a big guy. Like Angry OG has stature and weight, and he said he drank it and died, or ate it and died.
Yeah. We have some people die.
Yes.
It happens. It's so fun, but you know what? It's so rewarding when you walk up to a table and they're just like hysterically laughing and having the best time. It is so rewarding to see that, because that's what I want. I just want people to enjoy our good food, because people they think our food's not going to be good because we're such a niche business, but our food is delicious.
It is good.
It's very good. So it's great when you see someone enjoying the food, enjoying the smoke, having a drink, and like just getting the whole experience in.
Right. Have you guys done ice cream yet?
How funny is that? I made popsicles yesterday.
Ooh.
So we have cannabis shots. They're 2 ounces, and they have we have lemon, we have lime, we have grape, all of that. So I made like 4 different flavors of popsicles. And so we're gonna start selling those this weekend. I just bought I had to get new packaging and stuff like that, and I gotta bring them over to the corporate for them to try them on Friday. But yeah, and then when I was in Spain, I made mushroom and cannabis ice cream.
Wow.
Oof.
And that was a time.
That was a time. All right now, Julia.
Julia, look at you elevating the industry, bringing your own popsicles to it. Come on, girl. Just elevating.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
climb the charts. There's a space for you and it. And this is amazing. This is awesome. I use amazing a lot because I'm thrilled when women show up for themselves. I'm thrilled of how excited you are and how vested you are in what you do, and it's contagious. So I need some of that juju. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a passion behind it for me, because when she was giving us the whole spiel, I mean, she didn't even have to look at the menu. I mean, it was just going and going and going. And I'm just high. And as she's reading the menu, I'm just like, tell me more, tell me more.
Well, I was also training a new kid too, so I had to be,
Oh, that's right.
Remember?
On your P's and Q's. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I've done ice cream, popsicles, water ice, donuts, ice cream sandwiches, and a copycat recipes of mainstream desserts. Wow, Big E, a
All
man
right,
with
get in
many
there.
hats.
Big
Yeah,
E, sounds
Boy,
like you got to come visit me over in Nashville.
sounds
not
the
before
same.
I do, cuz. Not before I do.
That's
We can,
definitely an
we can come
invitation.
together.
You
Like
know, we can take a BN trip. You know,
yes.
Yes, that would be
it'd
love.
be a bus trip. That would be awesome.
Yes, we can. Let's
See,
do
we
it.
can go together. I
We
want to
have
go
to.
too. Let's make this a thing.
Yeah.
Julia, is there anything that you want to leave us with? Drop a gem in reference to wellness. Again, prior to that, let me double back. In the average woman, you did say there's a facet of women or facet of people that come in different creed, different races, different ages. What about the corporate woman? Do you get a lot of that? Do you
Great question, Reek.
and that's because we want to grow, but we also don't want to be judged. We want to be ourselves.
Right.
But I can come to that business meeting and sit at the table with you, but I might go tap my peace pipe too. But that doesn't negate what I have to offer as a businesswoman.
Right.
So that's where that came from, T. So as far as corporate men and women, specifically women, do you find that you get bookings for that, or that you get parties, tables?
Can I tell you, reefer madness is still a thing, unfortunately. What the misconception about my restaurant is a lot of time is that they think we force you to get stoned when you come to us, but our food is not infused. It's our sauces that are infused. We also have a regular bar. If you want to get drunk, you can do that too. So, that is honestly our biggest hurdle that we're trying to escape, is like, we just have great food. We have $2 beers Monday through Thursday. Like, come do all of those other things. You don't need to get stoned. We would like you to.
Right.
We would like you
Absolutely.
to. We would like to take your money, you know what I mean?
Right.
But that's gonna be the biggest thing. I mean, what's very interesting is we are very closely affiliated with the Hemp Growers Coalition of Tennessee. And it's a bunch of like women in their 30s and 40s. And they all come in and they love our place and they spend a lot of money and they have a great time, and that's all. It's a coalition to try to get marijuana legalized in Tennessee. So you see that, and then even within my company, there's a lot of women in charge.
Nice. I like that. That. I like that for you. I like that for your company. And thank you so much for, difficult question. My producer said, corporate America does indulge, but it's a secret. So with all due respect, we always want to show respect to every avenue. Julia, is there any wellness tips that you want to leave us with before you say goodbye?
I think, women shouldn't be afraid. And what I mean by that is I've moved so many times. Like, I moved to Hawaii. I didn't know anybody. I moved to Spain. I didn't know anybody, and I didn't speak the language. I decided to move to Nashville just having my parents here. And I think that, don't make a plan. If it feels right, do it.
Right. Thank you for that. And please come back to join us on Women's Wellness Wednesday. We are definitely taking a trip. T, myself, Shannon, and anyone else on the network is more than welcome to come. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Julia. I'll be in touch,
Thank
honey.
you for
I
having
appreciate
me.
you.
Bye, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. T, that was so much fun.
It was. Thank you.
A cannabis connoisseur.
Reek, I'm telling you, the experience with her was like so super dope. Like, my girlfriend that I met in Nashville, she's an older woman.
Thanks.
Her name is also T. Michelle.
Yes.
She goes right there. Shout out to T. Michelle. She had a freaking blast. She doesn't smoke too much, but she still enjoyed the food, and she still had a really, really, really good time. And Julia just came with so much knowledge. I was just so intrigued by her energy because she just gave off this boss feel.
Yes. And that's how she presented tonight on the show. And, sometimes I get tongue tied, but that's just the natural flow of things, because I was truly amazed at her story, her journey. She, walked us through it, and Hawaii, Spain, learning a new language, picking it up. I'm selling cookies and weed. These are the two verbs and adjectives I need to know to get going. And, she made a way for herself. And
What is
that's
he
what I love.
demonstrating, Reek? Resilience, queen. Come on
Say
with
that
it.
again. Say it.
Resilience, come on, girl.
And you have to build it every single day. By the way, go grab it. It's on Amazon. Building every day your resilience. The power, the power of the 5 pillars. Go grab my book. It's an ebook. Interactive, love it. Type my name into Amazon, Tireca Bright. It'll pop right up. You can also type my name into your search engine, and TirecaBright.com will pop up as well. And you can purchase the book there.
Shout out.
T,
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to discuss, accountability. And so, as a woman, we are big on safe spaces. We are big on hard conversations, or at least I'm trying to be big on hard conversations. I touched on it last week briefly, and I'm going to touch on it again this week in a different space with a different mindset around it. So, if you will, I looked up the word accountability partner, and accountability partner is someone who you give or you express your goal to, and they help you achieve that goal by keeping you on the same or on the path that you choose to be on. Thanks, Tiff, for sharing. So, with an accountability partner, that person should send a text, get your merch. Yes, I'm gonna pause on that. Definitely get your merch. TirecaBright.com is floating through. Definitely tap into that website. I have free consultation, 30 minutes available. And we're also gearing up for a wellness retreat. In addition to the TirecaBright.com, we have the BEN merch. We have a site that you can receive shirts, mugs, keychains, anything you want on the BEN merch website. Shannon, could you put that below? Because I don't want to butcher the name. I want to make sure that people know exactly where to go. Shout out to all our shows, T. On Monday, we have Melanated Vibrations with Miss Dom and Miss Andreas. Those beautiful queens come through with their therapeutic hats and give us all the loving and all the TLC that we need, along with some letters behind those names. So make sure you tune in to Melanated Vibrations on Monday. Tuesday, we have the producer himself, Top Flight and Angry OG at 7 p.m. Bringing the fire. They tend to go off the rails. That's what they say.
Every time.
T is definitely a witness, as am I. We have a good time on Tuesdays at 7 with Top Flight, Angry OG, and Big E himself on their podcast. Wednesday, you have your lovely ladies, Reek and T. So, definitely join in. We have Go Grab Lunch. We will do Go Grab Lunch this evening, but we will do it a little later on in the show. We haven't forgotten about it, but we still want to put that out there. And on Thursdays, we have According with Jim. Shout out to Jimbo. They're mopping up dust on Tuesdays. Yeah, on Tuesdays, yes, they are. They're definitely mopping up the dusties.
Yes, they are.
On Thursdays, not Angry OG, excuse me, according to Jim. Yes, according to Jim. We love him. Jim is always coming with something controversial. You can count on Jim to get you fired up. You can count on Jim to trigger every emotion you have in your body. He will press it, but he will also give you that thought-provoking perspective. And I salute you, Jim, for that. You bring it each and every week. Unlatched is on Thursdays with our girl Deandra, coming by way of Florida. She has been bringing some heat lately, T. I had to ask her to drop the link the other day. I got excited. The link below, bigexclusivemerch.com. Write it down, bigexclusivemerch.com. You will be able to find merch for each and every show that I just mentioned. Accountability partner. T, an accountability partner is someone who you should be able to challenge.
Right.
Sometimes I struggle with that. And here on Women's Wellness Wednesday, I need a safe place to say that. I say that with all due respect. I say that as a resilience coach. Hard conversations are hard to have. With coaching, there's a paid fee that comes along with that. So the hard conversation is had because there's a fee behind it.
Right.
Sometimes as a woman, I struggle with the hard conversation. Do you find that difficult when wanting to hold your girlfriend accountable? Do you have those conversations? And what do they look like?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, since I've hit like 40, 41, I like kind of welcome like someone holding me accountable because I get scattered. So in my like girl groups, I encourage them to hold me accountable, and I'm going to do the same, because friendships are about, like you said, like having a safe place, being comfortable talking about things that make you uncomfortable, that may be challenging. But in order to like work through those things, you have to have a safe place and be able to have someone to hold you accountable.
So when I also say that, I also want to give the example of, you know, I'm an emotional person outside of my resilience coaching. Again, there's a different hat that we all wear. I'm a mom of a toddler. I went to National Night Out. Stan had a complete meltdown, and at 40, I have to get used to tantrums because it's appropriate and it's warranted because they're going to do it. But my patience was a little thin. So again, people wear different hats. So with that being said, hard conversations, wear different hats. I'm an emotional person at times. And so you know that sometimes you have to reel me back in to be like, Reek, it's not, and not to negate that it wasn't that deep.
Right.
It's just that, like, feel the feeling, which I totally promote, but also be able to think of a different perspective.
Right.
And also know that if the person who is giving it to you knows you, they will respect your feelings. So you don't have to feel like it's not a safe place to have that hard conversation.
Right.
In my place of business, my job is to make the rational decision. I don't waver when I'm at my place of business. I make the decision, I stand on it, I delegate, and I move forward. I find that for whatever reason in my personal life, with personal relationships, I sometimes struggle with those hard conversations. Parental, sometimes my mom and I don't see eye to eye. And that's a struggle, but I know she wants the best for me, but it's a hard conversation to sometimes have. So I just wanted to touch on hard conversations, accountability. If you ask a person to be your accountability partner, because at the end of the day, they're helping you achieve your goal. And some of you may know, some of you may not know. I know Big E does. I know Tiff knows. I know a few people know what my goal is to accomplish at the end of the year. And I'm steadfast on it, and all of those people I just named, Dom, Andreas, Angry OG, they hold me accountable.
Yes, ma'am.
Every day we get empowerment texts. So within the network, that's our accountability group.
Shout out to the president, Miss Tiff.
Thank you for that, Tiff. Thank you. You keep us on our toes. Tiff checks in and, says you matter. Sometimes we may feel like we don't. Right. And when you get a text that's directed towards you, it activates you in a different way. I also wanted to touch on the fact that we are 4 months away from 2024. I know that I'm the first to kind of broadcast it. I'm not sure. Christmas is coming. Halloween is approaching.
Yes, ma'am. Thanksgiving. All of
Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving, and here on Women's Wellness Wednesday, I want to make sure, and I know they're going to do it on Melanated Vibrations, seasonal depression. I want to make sure that we have a safe place for people to come when the weather changes. Of course, Tiff. When the weather changes, we'll be indoors. We'll be doing longer shows potentially to have a safe place for people to come and gather. So with that being said, T, do you have any plans for the new year thus far? 4 months away is not that far.
To be honest,
New Year's approaching.
I haven't even thought about it until literally you just said it. I have not really thought about the fact that like soon enough it's a brand new year, and like I'm grateful for this year. There was been a lot of growth this year. So
Right.
I'm hopeful in 2024 like I start seeing the results to
Of
this
your
growth.
fruits of your labor. Yeah,
Yeah,
labor.
because I'm getting tired.
Yeah, it's tiresome, but showing up for yourself every day,
Right.
having those hard conversations, sending that email,
Mhm.
those things matter.
Right.
Again, the resilience that we talk about, it is within us all. You just got to tap into it.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
for me, for the next 4 months, I'm excited to see what they bring. The fall is my favorite season. I love to get cozy. There's a
Mhm.
resilience retreat that I want Women's Wellness Wednesday to be a part of, um,
Absolutely.
in conjunction with the resilience that I promote. So
Mhm.
I'm super excited for that. The ladies will go away for a couple of days. We will be pampered. We will support each other. We will meditate. We
Mm.
will it's an invitation based, but we will offer it to the the women of BEN at no cost. And we'll also offer it to some past guests that we've had here on Women's Wellness Wednesday. It'll be about 13 women, and we're
Okay.
definitely going to tap into our wellness during this time. Um, so yeah, good evening. Thank you for joining
Ah,
us.
thanks.
I want to get into go grab lunch. So go grab lunch for those of you who don't know. Thank you. How
That's so
beautiful.
beautiful,
I
E.
love that.
This looks so good.
For those of you first time viewers, or those of you who don't know, here on the BEN network, we salute women by saying, hey, go grab lunch. Go grab lunch is a
Mhm.
kind gesture that we do via Venmo, via Cash App, to a viewer in the audience. So we're not going to do it at this very second. We're going to come back to go grab lunch, but we will say that there will be a trivia question that will be asked at some point. And when you put the answer in the text below, in the comments below, if you are correct, we will then gift you the go grab lunch. It won't be a hard trivia question. It will be very, you know, it'll be to get you guys used to some things. So, T, do you can I win?
No,
No, you may not.
come
You
on,
may not
champ.
win. So, with you said at the age of 40, there are some things that you expect women to do for you or women to hold you accountable for.
Hmm.
Um, what when you think about self-care and what that means to you, do you have a steady routine? Are these women pouring into you saying, T, did you jog today? T, let's get up and do this Zoom call. Let's work out together. Do you have a self-care routine right now?
So, shout out to my best friend Maria. Hopefully, she's watching. She's like my self care accountability queen.
Okay.
And when people think self care, they think of like nails, hair, makeup, that kind of stuff. But self
Mhm.
care is, babe, you've been in the house for 4 days. I'm taking you out. We're going to the movies. Let's get you some, self care.
Pico de gallo, like get you some food.
Yeah,
Let's,
like, yeah. So I feel like at 40 you realize that like when someone's holding you accountable, it's not for you to take personal. It's not for you to get offended by it, especially like again if you have a safe space with your friends.
right.
So sometimes when my friends ask me like, well, did you go to the gym this week? Years ago I might have been like, well, it I didn't, and so
Did your
what?
mom? Like,
Right.
don't
now
question
now
me.
I'm like, I encourage it to be like, just check in and make sure I at least go to the gym next week, just so
Right.
that again, we're holding each other accountable, because
Yeah.
I think that that's what like friendship and womanship is about.
And so like you said, that's what self-care looks like for you. And I think self-care is different for us all, and it's not about working out all the time. It's not
Mm-hmm.
about yoga or meditation all the time. I recently started to like do waist beads, and this is just for like
Ooh,
fun, not for like sale, just to get my head in a different direction. I got a
That's
cute
dope.
little belly during my downtime. Put your computer away, put your
Yes.
phone away,
Okay.
make a waist bead,
I
make
love that
5
for
of
you.
them. So I was eager, and that's why I posed the question in that way. And I didn't expect to get a cookie cutter answer from you, or something out of the book, because you're none of those things. And once, seriously, and I think that women want to see a different side, or can appreciate, if you will, oh, she doesn't go get pampered every single day. Like, nails, feet, hair is not everything to everybody.
Speaking of that, let me say these baby right here are from Shein, $1.79. I press them on. If they pop off, I put the glue back on. They last 2 weeks. I don't have time to be paying somebody $65 when I can just press these
And they
on
still work
myself.
like this, because I can still just, yeah. And it gives me the vibe. It gives me the Cardi B.
Yes.
It's giving.
It's giving me the self-care that I need without breaking my pockets in the interim of it all.
In the interim, I love it. So you have to make it make sense.
Yes. Makes
So
sense. Makes
right,
sense and makes sense.
right. So this here waist bead spinny thingy, $20 off of Amazon.
Uh-huh.
And I love it.
And I love that for you, Reek.
It gives me something else to do. Like I
Yeah,
said, I may have to, girl, I'm getting busy. I'm a boss for real.
you are for real. Got a lot
So
on your plate, boo.
so sometimes, I have to tap out.
Yeah.
I'm a boss, I'm a mom, and I manifest those things. I say those things about myself because I really want to feel it and I want to walk in it. There's
And you are.
nothing to do about cockiness. It's all about confidence. Because if
Amen.
I'm not my biggest cheerleader, then who will be? I mean, I know you are, but I
Yeah.
say that to say, look in the mirror and be proud of who you are. That is a
And where
wellness
you've
thing.
come.
Yeah.
And where you've come. Because, like you weren't the same person a month ago. You
Right.
probably overcame some shit that you thought was going to be the worst of it all.
Right.
So like every day you're overcoming something, and it is challenging every day to try to be so positive.
Child.
But like what I try to
And
do
that's the
now more
realness.
often
Yes.
is try to just be positive. But it is hard because
Life
sometimes
is
it's
life.
just nothing right. Life is just life in.
Yeah. Yeah. So even when you like, T, we can't be positive Patty, every day, all day. But sometimes I love the waist beads. Yes, honey. I will show y'all, but it's a little much for right now. No, I love the fact that you get your nails done. Hey,
Yeah, me
cuz.
too.
Hey, Tay.
I just can't afford it, honey.
It's the background. Yes. Okay. Part of self-care is my nails. That's important. I needed to push. So glad. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love that you're here
Wonderful.
tonight.
Nephew. Hey, Deandra. Sorry, guys. Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
Wise Girls.
That's right, Reek. Some people only have themselves as cheerleaders, and that's okay. And that's quite all right. Makeup is so relaxing and satisfying. I'm into makeup too.
I wish I knew how, because I do think
We'll
like
learn.
makeup is like an art.
It
I
is.
love to watch like how women can transform, and I just don't know. It's hard for me to even put mascara on most times. But when women take the time to do their makeup, I think it's beautiful. I just couldn't do it.
It's an enhancement, and we've had
Mm-hmm.
this discussion before on our show, and I can say that Tim is not a fan of makeup. However, I like it.
Right.
So it's not that he's like disgruntled when I put it on. He's just like, you don't need it. So if I'm like, hey, do I look nice? He's like, well, yeah. But he
Yeah.
would say it if I didn't have it on. So I kind of miss that piece of it because it just
Right.
doesn't do anything for him. But me, honey, with a good lash, it does nothing for him. With a good lash and a good blush,
Honey,
I've
lashes
arrived.
change your whole attitude. You
I've
can't let
arrived.
you
Yes.
put lashes on me. I'm a whole different person, child. I'm like this the whole time talking to you, so you can see them flutter.
Right. Because I want to make sure you can see me.
All of it, like this.
So it's things like that. Self-care comes in many forms. That's what we want to share. That's what we want to boost. You can teach. Well, let's get into that.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
I can teach you guys. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I would like
Tip, let's make it a
that.
thing. Let's make it a thing. Makeup is my
Let's
happy
make it a
place.
thing.
So my girlfriend got me introduced to makeup many moons ago, and I haven't had like a refresher, like a touch up, but I'll still get compliments on it. I'm about my nails. I know, Tiff.
Let's
Oh,
go, Queen.
well, Tiffany, what we're gonna have to get that on a resilience retreat. Because if you get into that, okay. So we'll
Say
definitely
we won't have a sleepover and do each other's hair and makeup like we were in elementary or middle school.
Grease.
Yes.
Yes, I love Grease. We're showing our age, but Grease is a classic.
Classic.
I mean, it's not. Grease was definitely a thing.
It was a thing.
But so yeah, self-care. I encourage people to grab a plant. These are my wellness tips. As silly as it may sound, grab yourself a plant. Indoor, outdoor. Open that window, put it in that space, and talk to her. Let her know how your day's going. Get the oxygen flowing in your crib. You can, plants bring an ambiance. Plants bring a certain type of peace.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I don't have a green thumb, but I will recommend the Orchard because it just requires 3 ice cubes, like once every 2 weeks, and that's it.
Drop the gems. Listen,
that's it. And it does.
And they're beautiful.
A whole new feel, and it does. It gives you a new feel when you have like a little fresh plant in your kitchen or something.
Sure, put it beside your bed. And again, indoor, outdoor don't necessarily need to have the sunlight and the air, but any place in your home, a hanging plant outside the door, on your porch area, go ahead and get you a nail, slap it up there, and change something. Sometimes we always can't change our environment, but we can manage it. And so there's a difference. So when you enhance your environment, you can purge from it or you can add to it. I want to live in a 6-bedroom house with 5 bathrooms, but unfortunately that's not my set right now. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to make the space that I have enhanced with different things. Maybe I make one room into 2. The point is you manage your environment. You always can't necessarily change it. So put something in your environment. Exactly. To enhance it.
Yeah.
T, do you have a trivia question from our guest who we had earlier this evening? I want to give a small recap while you think. So this evening on that's my son. This evening on Women's Wellness Wednesday, we had a special guest, Julia. I'm not going to give you guys too much, but if you pay attention, this might be in the trivia question. Julia, plants are healthy as well. Yes. Aloe. See, that's one of my fave. I love when it blooms. Orchards are beautiful. Aloe or
Hey, that's my sister. Hey, sis.
Yes, and it's great for beginners. Listen, the ladies are dropping gems. They're dropping plants that you can get. Again, if you don't have a green thumb, that's cool. You might want to go to Home Depot the next time and say, you know what, they did say get a plant. Let me start with this. And you might intrigue something, again, or, activate something. You don't have a green thumb now, but you may get one when you go. The directions are easy. You never know what you like until you try it. So our guest, Julia, was phenomenal. If you're tuning in just now, small recap. She is our cannabis connoisseur. She was amazing this evening. Julia was well-versed, bilingual, taught herself, moved around the country, solo, took some time and, stopped in on her parents during her travels. But her future focus, which is a resilience pillar, her future focus remained in the cannabis industry, and now she is thriving. So
and bringing so much more to the industry. I mean, incorporating her own cookies, adding popsicles to the menu. Like, it's not just stopping from here. She doesn't want to just stay at general manager. She wants to own it and bring ideas to it and continue to elevate.
So she mentioned franchising out. I mean, huge. She has I think it was 5 to 6 years in it alone now,
Right.
and in entrepreneurship and the business savvy piece. That year 5 or 6, they say, is big for you. You've been in the business a bit. You've skinned your knee a few times. You've had a few triumphs and accomplishments that are, well said. Your name is out there, and
Right.
Julia is on her way. She is truly
Yeah,
on her way.
and here at Women's Wellness Wednesday, we believe it takes a village. So
Yes.
Julia and any other guest or anyone that wants to, needs a special shout out, needs a boost of encouragement, needs some motivation, don't hesitate to tap in and allow Reek and I to just bless you and manifest for you, important to you, because it does. It takes a village to encourage and continue to keep us as women motivated, because we do wear so many hats and we do get drained and we do feel like we're alone.
Right.
So, reach out to us and let
Yes.
us pour into you on Wednesdays so we can make you feel good.
And I'm a giver. And again, Go Grab Lunch kind of stems from that. So,
Right.
I can't give the world. I can't be MC Hammer. I'd love to be, but he went bankrupt. So you have to
And
be
he was
smart.
too legit to quit, honey.
Period.
Okay,
Period.
he should have been legit, and then he didn't have to quit. You feel me?
Bars. Those were bars. So with Go Grab Lunch, we are going to ask, T, did you think of a question?
I did.
Okay.
The question is, where is Julia originally from?
The first person to drop the answer in the chat wins the Go Grab Lunch. Tiff, Big E, you guys are the eyes on the prize. Let us know. Me too. It's fresh and new. This is season 2, by the way, guys. This is season 2. www.
Giving you real Wonder Woman vibes. Giving you real. Let's go. There it is.
That's my nephew.
Hey, nephew.
Yay. Listen, this young man, shout out to my nephew coming out of Virginia. This young man is an entrepreneur himself. This young man is a very hard worker. This young man shows up for his mom every single day and his little sister. My nephew is in college. I think he graduates this year. Dink, I'm so proud of you. I see you, baby. I salute you. And we'll definitely get that Cash App over to you. Thank you so much for joining us, Dink. And,
thank you, nephew.
And paying attention. T, my man was paying attention.
Yes, he was. Because Julia was rapid fire, honey. Mm-hmm. She was going with her background and he got it. So good for him, nephew.
Yes. Congratulations. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Congratulations to our Go Grab Lunch winner. Go Grab Lunch. Again, I was saying that I was a giver, and I know I can speak. He's matching. Okay. I can think of another question.
Appreciate you, Big E.
Come
on, girl.
I'm trying. So I just said it. How many years has Julia been in the cannabis business? First one to put it in the chat. Thanks, Shannon. There we go. T got it.
Let's go, my baby. Come on, T. I love you, babes.
Listen, thank you so much. We're going to match that. We will put the Cash App information down below. It is the $, my first name, Tireca, last name Bright, BRIGHT. You will request the $20 from me via Cash App. If you don't use Cash App, please reach out to me and my DM, and we can do it Venmo to T and Dink. Dink, I got you. T, we'll be in touch on how to get you that. So thank you so much, Shannon, for matching that. Put the request in. Definitely put the request in. So what was I saying? I'm so excited. I'm just, I'm overjoyed. I recently booked a keynote speaking gig. Many of you know Many of you know that I have been pouring into myself in a different way. I've been pouring into the community and into my audience on various platforms in different way using resilience and the 5 pillars and what they mean to each and every one of us, and the power that we have within to tap into the resilience. I received a phone call. They asked me what my speaking fee was. I sent the contract.
Let's go.
And my speaking engagement is October 2nd. And I'm
Let's
more than thrilled, and super proud of myself.
Shout
Big
out,
Reek.
Queen. Let's go. Let's go.
Shannon, call me Big Reek. Shannon, call me Big Reek. I want to see that Big Reek. Thanks, guys. I appreciate
Not
that.
Big Reek.
Big Reek.
Let's go.
Big Reek. So,
and I'll be T.
I say
Hoover.
that to say, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I say that to say, you know, my cousin was in the audience, Shantae. She said, sometimes you are your biggest cheerleader. And I have been. I've been showing up for myself. I can use these I statements. Thanks, nephew. I can use these I statements because I stayed steady. I stayed tunnel vision. I stayed future focused. I tapped into my strong relationships. I tapped into my inner drive. And I showed up for myself.
All while still pouring into other people.
Thanks, T.
No, thank you. Like you do. I mean, there are times where we talk and you're drained and I can hear it and you're still trying to pour into me to the point where I'm like, we can just do this tomorrow, boo.
Right.
You don't have to try to carry it all on your shoulders all at once.
And that's why I appreciate the women in my life. I've had private conversations with T, Tiff Spade, various people, my sister Shay, and you guys know me. So
shout out to my Sugarfoot. I'm sorry, that's Sugarfoot right there. Hey Jade, Sugarfoot.
Hey, so I say that to say, have people in your corner that will pour into you, so then you can pour into others. Because you're only as good as your team. And I'm not a one-man band by any means. It takes a village. Okay, it takes a village, and I thank my village for pouring into me, to have inside conversations, to pull in my coattail.
Amen.
You know, Shannon has done. You know, I'm going to say it. He's responsible for my LLC. Shannon,
shout out to Shannon.
My fault, Shannon. But you know, I'm just, you know, the transparency is there. Thank you. And, you know, with that being said, people pour into you in different ways. You know, I didn't ask, you know, I offered to reimburse. I know, I'm sorry. But you were loving
we gotta shout you out too every now and then, Shannon.
It takes a village. It takes a village. And as the producer, you know, we're always not gonna, my mama says she love you too. I love her too. You know, we're not gonna always see eye to eye. And we haven't always seen eye to eye. I can say that too, Big E. But that doesn't take away from what the goal is. And so I want to leave you guys with the gem. The gem is show up for yourself. It is my favorite line. I don't do anything for recognition. It's just nice to know that I'm appreciated. And you are.
You are.
You are. So the gem for this evening is show up for yourself. This gem has been mentioned many times before. This gem is what I stand on when I say open that email, when I say send the message, when I say build the website. Don't do it again. Don't see, there you go talking to me crazy. This is Women's Wellness Wednesday. Don't do it. I was just giving something empowering, and then you plan by telling me to don't do something again. And just because you said don't do it again, what am I going to do again, T?
Do it again.
Okay. All right.
And
as long as we're clear. As long as we're clear. Don't tell me what to do. The gem is please. Okay. So the please is cool. See how I retract? The please was fine. The please was fine. Show up for yourselves. All jokes aside, show up for yourselves. You know, whatever that looks like for you, tap into your 5 pillars of resilience, which are energy, future focused, flexible relationships, flexible thinking, strong relationships, and inner drive. With that, we're going to exit out of Women's Wellness Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in. T, I'll see you in a few.
Can't stop, won't stop. Good night.
Thanks, guys.